Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And I am vibrating with the power of a yellow sun because another trailer for Superman has dropped.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I saw a thumbnail. John Campea said this is the trailer of the year.
So here we are.
So let's get into this.
We'll be the judge of that.
We are...
Because I've definitely seen every trailer that's dropped this year.
We watched a lot. Let's
Yeah.
dive right the heck into this. Yeah. Oh, shit.
The most powerful being on planet Earth.
Huh.
We finally meet.
Now, as planned,
I think her abilities are really good.
Yeah.
I'll destroy you. And of course, that reporter you always do interviews with.
And of course,
who raised you as a child? I'll kill them too.
right, set up Lex Luthor. I think this holds up pretty well here. I'll kill you. I'll kill your reporter. I'll kill your
dog.
family. I'll find that little dog too. Wow, I love this movie.
No matter what you do to me, Luther.
The way he's riding the fire is so unfazed.
Wrap it up.
Good luck with that.
Crypto taking the helmet off, sweet. Oh, that's sick. Okay, I got it on good big blue.
Buckle up.
Okay.
They chose him. Let them die.
That shot.
Yeah, it's every single time.
I'm like,
Quit
yeah.
messing around. I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
Okay.
Eyes up here.
The Neo from the Matrix moment.
Damn.
Wow. Wow.
That's pretty dang great.
There's so many individual little things that are amazing about it.
Mm-hmm.
It really is maybe the first time I've seen a Superman movie be in love with the elements of the Superman comics I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because obviously the Richard Donner movies, they love Superman, and Superman is great in those, and I will never, I love those films. Even, you know, I don't think I've ever seen the fourth one. But the first three, all great. They have some downs, but they're great. All of the Supermans in between felt like either you get the Superman Returns with Brandon Routh, which is just Hollywood trying to recapture the movies of Superman from the Christopher Reeves era, or you get the Zack Snyder, which is trying to be the opposite, and honestly trying to lean a little bit into like 90s comics with you know, the Liefeld era of pockets, and he didn't have pockets as but the kind of muscly, overly stylized and very aggressive comics. But that's not what I loved about comics as a child.
Yeah.
Like I loved Justice League versus Aliens. You know what I mean? Like I loved the version of Superman that was hopeful and funny and charming in a Midwestern way, but going up against these larger than life threats that were absurd and only he could handle. Mm-hmm. And it just feels like this is the Superman movie that loves the comics that I grew up on. Yeah. In a way that makes like, and look, James Gunn and I think have a lot of similar loves, right? Based on the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, based on like Slither, going back to his filmography, I think that he and I have similar sensibilities. Yeah. So I'm not surprised that his Superman movie has a similar sensibility to my favorite Superman stories. Yeah. But God, that was good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. And I think that it is pretty telling that every trailer or everything they put out, because there was that like scene that was more of a trailer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Everything that they have put out, I have been here for. Like a lot of the times I'll be like, yeah, I really like this trailer, but this one was like, I didn't really see the point in it, or I think this one gave too much away, or, you know, it is really difficult to continuously put out several trailers that don't spoil too much, that set the tone, like give you an idea of what to expect and what the story is going to be. And I think that it is very impressive. They managed to do this so successfully without, I think, in my opinion, giving too much away. Like, I'm very much looking forward to the movie, and I also, at the same time, I'm like, I haven't seen the whole thing. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, I saw the trailer, I feel like I saw the movie.
I feel like they've given away some stuff. Nothing I'm super upset about being spoiled on. I do think that, I'm not surprised at all that Mr. Terrific is probably going to turn against Maxwell Lord and become Superman's friend. Like, that reveal, not super shocking to me.
Yeah.
I think that what I like about this trailer in particular is that it sets up why Luthor's doing what he's doing so well. He has this narcissistic need to be liked.
They chose him.
And he is struggling. Yeah, that scene.
That's all
they chose him, they deserve to die. Like, this is about a broken man. And this trailer kind of told us how Luthor is broken inside.
Yeah.
And I'm so curious, because of the version of Superman that they've built here, how does this Superman confront that? Right? And when Superman realizes it's that, how is he... Because that, to me, is a version of Superman and Lex I don't think we've ever seen before.
Yeah, you know, like, do you go the route of, like, you know, some people can't be helped because they refuse to help themselves, and therefore there's nothing you can do, or some people just need somebody in their lives to tell them that they are worthy, that they have worth outside of what other people think of them. This movie in particular could go so many ways because it has that classic feel, but it also has the hope that you've stated, and I'm really curious, to see how they deal with the villain's motivation. Because it's not just, I'm evil. Yeah. It's that he's
sad.
Yeah.
I really like Nicholas Holt's performance so far. I'm not gonna lie, his was the casting I was the most kind of on the fence of. Yeah. And it's not that I don't like Nicholas Holt. I actually really think he's quite talented. I just didn't really understand him as Lex from his past stuff.
Sure.
But these trailers have really sold me on what this version of him is. And I'm sold. Like, I think that he has become one of the things I'm most excited about for the movie, weirdly, through the trailers. And you know, obviously David Cornswet as Superman, I'm so curious to see, but I liked him right away. I thought, and having seen him in Twisters, I got it's a very different character, but I saw the stiffness of Superman in him. The way he's switching between the two versions of that character, which you see very well in him. I think he plays that on screen very well. I've just never been surprised by that. I thought David Cornswet was a great option from the very beginning. But Nicholas Holt, because I'm more familiar with his work, it was harder for me to imagine him as Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
But I'm really sold on the version of him in these trailers. Rachel Brosnahan was the most obvious choice in the world. As soon as they were like, it's
of course.
I was like, oh yeah, of course she's Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Wait, Maisel's Lois Lane? Yeah, that makes more sense than I think any casting ever has. Yeah. So I'm so sold on it. I keep seeing people say this movie looks bad, and I'm so shocked. The movie looks so good.
It does. I think maybe
it looks cartoony,
confusing bad with stylized.
Yes.
And I think that is really unfortunate. People are like, well, that's not for me, therefore it's bad, which I think is something that we need to do less of. You know, if you don't like that cartoony style, that is absolutely fine. That is valid. You do you, but that does not make a thing bad.
But it's also just so Superman. Like, I think that the version of Superman that some people want this to be is a version that you only really see in Justice League. No, it's not. It isn't Batman. It is the version of Superman that he becomes when he is always with the Justice League. Yeah. And when Clark Kent... Here's the thing. I love Justice League stories, but in a lot of them, Clark Kent is not present. It is always just, he's Superman because it is Superman time because the whole Justice League's there. If the whole Justice League is present, it is usually Superman time.
Yeah.
Right? And it is in these solo stories of Superman where you get to see more Clark Kent, where you see this other side of him, where his stories take on a different shape.
Yeah.
And I think that this movie is more like his solo comic stories, right? Is more like that vibe of like, you know what? The world isn't fully at stake. Like there isn't an alien army everywhere that I need to be fighting 24/7.
Yeah.
This is more of my day to day. And so that Clark Kent side is a little bit more present. The lightness is a little bit more there. And I think this movie has to be bright because I do think he's going to beat Lex with kindness. You know what I mean? I think he's going to kill him with kindness in this. And I think that because they're setting up Lex as really just sort of the sad, tortured, you know, guy who grew up rich but doesn't have anything else.
Yeah.
Because money, it doesn't fill your soul, you know?
Yep.
And I think that that's partially the reason why, you know, Clark and his family in Kansas have been moved to like a double-wide trailer house instead of like a farmhouse, right? I think that the class disparity between the two is going to be a much bigger part of this version of Clark and Lex.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to see the pieces of James Gunn's ideas come together here.
Yeah.
And I'm all on board for it.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
If you like the video, like, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is...
Lois?
Rachel Brosnahan. Let's go. If you want to follow us on the internet, you can. I'm at Nerdy Nightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
Do something nerdy tonight.
Bye.
Bye.